And welcome back. Time once again for book club. And Conrad is back from the Springfield Greene County Library. Good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you guys.
It's October. This has to be your favorite
month. This is my favorite time of the year. It's my season. This is
yes,
like my comfort place.
This is it. I know. Yep. Okay, so I'm assuming you brought us 3 books that might fit the genre.
Because it's getting the weather that it is great to curl up with a book at times.
Right, you want something kind of spooky to crawl under a blanket with.
Yeah.
Yes. So they all are a little bit spooky, that's for sure. And the first 2 are part of, the authors are coming as part of our annual Oh the Horror series, which is something we do every October.
Right.
That kind of just celebrates the genre and sort of engages people with the things that, you know, scare them.
Yes.
Because that's what horror's all about, is like, oh, what scares me and how do I deal with it?
Love it. All right, we're going to start with this one here.
Yeah, the Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. And Grady was here in 2017, so we're super excited to welcome him back. He'll be at the Galois this Friday night at 7 p.m. To perform his kind of one-man show, Welcome to the Final Girl Support Group.
Fun would that be?
Yeah, he's always very hilarious, very smart, very fun. And so, for people who are unfamiliar, the final girl is like the last woman standing at the end of a slasher flick. And so Grady is sort of exploring, like, what happens to these women after the credits roll? And so it turns out 20 years later, they are all in a support group together, as you know, you might expect.
They deserve it, yeah, they'll need it.
Right, and so the story kind of follows Lynette Tarkington, who survived this like Christmas time killing, to basically become so paranoid that she lives in this apartment that's also a cage, and her best friend is her houseplant. So, you know, she's doing real well.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Do any of them disappear during the book?
So, you guessed it.
Yeah.
So yes, so one of the final girls in the group ends up killed, and so Lynette is like, there is a killer that is coming after all of us. But she has to kind of convince the other final girls before it's too late. So, I mean, Grady's always just like so much fun, so smart.
What a great
and it's
idea.
Yeah, it's a really fun book.
Okay, the next one, I love the title, My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones.
Yeah, Stephen Graham Jones is like one of the best writers out there, not just in horror, but like in general. So he's been called the Jordan Peele of horror literature. You know, Jordan Peele did Us and Get Out, and but My Heart is a Chainsaw was also written about in Rolling Stone, which is pretty cool, NPR. It's just been all over the place. And so this is also about slasher films and final girls.
Okay.
And so, you know, the final girl is usually like, you know, a pretty white teenager who's not really expecting to be in this sort of situation.
Right.
But this story follows Jade, who's an indigenous, sort of angsty, outcast teen who loves horror movies. And so when she starts to think that like her town has its own slasher, she sets out to find who she thinks is going to be the final girl to help her sort of fulfill her role. But she has to convince that final girl, she has to convince the authorities, and of course, she might not have the right girl. So it's very interesting and lots of fun.
You know, even if I didn't know what it was, the title alone,
right?
That's why you got, okay, I've got to have that.
Good title.
My Heart is a Chainsaw. All right, the last one, The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling.
Yes, This book is super hot right now. It literally just came out on like the 5th. I've seen write-ups about it everywhere, and Barnes & Noble just chose it as their October pick for their National Book Club. So it's kind of a big book this fall. And if you read Jane Eyre or Rebecca and you were like, you know, I really want this to be more gothic and like much creepier, this is a good pick for you, yeah. And like Jane Eyre, Jane Lawrence is just, you know, one of those heroines that you'll become really invested in, and you want to know where her story is going. And like, it's going to go some interesting places, as you can tell from the title, The Death of Jane Lawrence. Yeah, and so she enters into this, you know, sort of business arrangement marriage with this man, and he has this one condition, that she never visit his ancestral home, Lindridge Hall. But of course, you know, after a carriage accident, she ends up there. And I mean, of course, you know, she has to.
Don't ever tell a girl not to do that. Right, exactly.
Yeah, so you have to read it to sort of find out why he doesn't want her to spend the night there.
Oh
but
my gosh.
It's full of secrets, full of surprises.
Well, every one of these is available at the Springfield Greene County Library.
And I just really like the idea of you become invested in the character.
Yeah, right. That's the best part of a book.
That's absolutely.
You want to care about
All right, well, go to thelibrary.org, and it will have all of the events you can get involved in, any of the speakers that are coming to town, his picks. You guys have a podcast now, so anyway, great seeing you, Conrad.
Yep, great to see you guys, too. Thanks for having me.
Yep.